Frank Lloyd Wright is one of the most famous architects in American history. He believed that homes should feel natural, comfortable, and connected to the world around them. And his ideas changed the way many houses are designed today. But what a lot of people don't know is that Wright also tried to create affordable homes for regular working families. And one of the best examples of that project is right here in my city, Milwaukee. Today we're exploring the Burnham block, a small group of houses Wright designed over 100 years ago. Tucked away on Milwaukee's south side is one of his boldest and least known experiments. In 1916, Wright designed a full block of compact, affordable houses called the American System-Built Homes. A project meant to prove that beautiful architecture didn't have to be expensive. He created over 950 drawings and more than 30 different models for this system, more than any other project in his career. Today, the Burnham block stands as the largest remaining collection of these homes anywhere in the world. In this video, we're diving into the forgotten history behind these tiny homes, and how Milwaukee became the testing ground for one of his most ambitious ideas. Let's get right into it. Hey, what is going on, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Now in today's videos, guys, we're actually going to be getting a tour of Frank Lloyd Wright's tiny homes. Now these houses were actually built in 1916, and our tour guide is actually going to give you guys a little bit more insight and more info on these homes, since that's what I'm here for. I don't know too much about it, but let's check it out, guys, and see how it goes. Come on.
Mr. Wright felt that he wanted to design homes for the common man. He felt everybody should have a home that's designed by an architect. So he drew over 900 drawings for the American System-Built Homes. Multiple floor plans that would, here's one of the models of the floor plan. This is a different model of the floor plan. And you could then design these, order these homes from a local contractor. Now, this is not a new concept. Sears has been selling homes in the back of catalogs for years. You could go to any lumber yard and you could order a house and they would supply you the materials and you could build that house. What Mr. Wright's twist on this idea is that you could customize this house. As you notice on this picture here, there were 3 different roof styles that you could put onto the house, the same house. You could change the number of windows. If you look at the number of windows here, there are 4 of them in a row. You could make this entire wall windows. So you could change the number of windows that you wanted. You could change the size of the windows. These windows are roughly 2 feet tall. The ones behind you are a little bit bigger. The ones that we will see in the Model B1 are actually floor to ceiling. So these houses were customizable. So that was a little bit different than what that you could get from the Sears home.
And how many homes total is it?
I believe there were 15 different floor plans, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Wow.
Different basic floor plans. So where you will see 2 single-family homes today, and we're in one of the duplexes right now. This is the lower level of the duplex. The second level is the same floor plan as the first level, so we're not going to spend any time up there, most likely.
Okay.
Unless I decide that we're going to go there anyway. Couple things that happened. These were going to be pre-cut in a factory. Mr. Richards, who was the contractor that had exclusive rights to build American System-Built homes throughout the country, was going to do all the work in his factory. So these 6 houses were the first 6 houses that were built, all on this block. And they were a production pilot, so to speak, for Mr. Richards to see, can I really do what I promised Mr. Wright that I can do, which is write down the specs of a house that someone's ordering, send that information to the factory, have the materials made in the factory and brought here. So some of the things that were done in the factory were things that were done that would be very difficult to do on site. Some of the cuts on the details of some of the woodworking that they did would have been very difficult to do on site. So being able to do them in a factory, it gave them a little bit more flexibility, a little more creativity. uniqueness for the houses that they were designing. One of the things that they did to help reduce costs, if you're familiar with construction, you have to have a 2x4 on the side of the window. 16 inches on center, so you would have another 2x4 16 inches away. Now you have to have another 2x4 on this side of the window. 16 inches from there, you have another 2x4. And sometimes you get lucky and the next 2x4 happens on the side of the window is 16 inches, or you may end up with a 2x4 here and another one there because of the 16 inches on center, which is a critical thing about building even back then. 16 inches on center was, that was the standardization that they did. These houses were designed 24 inches on center. So 24 inches on center gave them a nice spacing to put the windows in, made it easy to mount the windows, less scrap. So that was a way to help keep the costs down. So that was what they were looking at doing. Standardization of materials, the hardwood floors, maple floors, there were other options that you could choose. But these are 2-inch wide maple floors, which is a little bit narrower than standard. It gives you a lot more lines across the floor. Makes the room feel larger. So that is something that he did to do the designs. We'll see more information as we go through the Model B1, which is our house that is we refer to it as our museum house, and it's been totally restored. So you'll see all the finished detail that's not in this house. This house is still a work in progress. Why have I never seen these houses before? These were completed in 1916, and they were gearing up the company. Mr. Wright at this time is working on the Imperial Hotel in Japan. So he's not as fully focused on this project, getting the American System built homes going, as maybe he could have been. And Mr. Richards may not have been quite funded as well as it may be needed, but the big thing that happened is we entered World War I. So all of labor, all of materials are geared now toward the war effort, and the whole project comes to a standstill. There were less than 30 homes built. We know of approximately 20 of them. 6 of them here. There were 6 a little bit north of here. Those were torn down in the 70s for road improvements that were going on. There's a few more scattered around. I think there's 13 around that are still left in this part of the country. So Mr. Richards and Mr. Wright parted company, broke the contract, dissolved the corporation in 1917. There were very, very few of them built. But Mr. Wright never lost his passion to make affordable housing, and he revisited it several times. His Usonian homes were another attempt at doing affordable housing. As you walk into these homes, you'll see them, and people's comment quite often is that I could live in this house. Well, not original.
That is dope. Alright guys, we're gonna go check out the outside of the house now.
For people who are familiar with Frank Lloyd Wright, there are several characteristics in almost all of his designs. Finding the front door. It took you a moment to find it. It's a path of discovery to find the front door of a Frank Lloyd Wright house. Going to the second floor, you see the staircase up, but you see how it winds around again to the front door, which is directly above the front door on the first floor. The horizontal and vertical lines. Frank Lloyd Wright loved to emphasize horizontal and vertical lines, and the banding that you see coming along there, and it's on each one of the houses, is something that Frank Lloyd Wright put in. It serves no function other than to emphasize the horizontal and vertical lines. Now, Frank Lloyd Wright, when he designed houses, he wanted to incorporate nature with them. His most iconic house, Falling Water in Pennsylvania, is built over a waterfall. Well, he built his office in Spring Green, Wisconsin, Taliesin. It's built on the hillside, not on top of the hill, but into the hillside. So he would incorporate nature with his designs. These houses were not site-specific. So he incorporated nature by putting in flower boxes. It's hard to tell that there's flower boxes on the second floor, but you can see the tree branches on the lower floor here. Frank Lloyd Wright also liked to incorporate a larger overhang. You'll see the large how far the overhang sticks. If you look at the houses in the neighborhood.
Guys, I just want to go ahead and apologize. With all the cars driving by, it became really hard to hear the tour guy. so I'll just go ahead and explain. He was talking about how the roofs of the houses around the neighborhood barely go beyond the edge of the house. He also mentioned how there were no houses in front of the American system built homes, just a field that was growing celery. The exact spot that we are standing on used to actually be the outskirts of Milwaukee, and there used to be a farmhouse next to the American system built homes. The houses were actually also made out of a material called stucco, which is a durable cement-based plaster made out of sand, lime, and water. Frank Lloyd Wright liked stucco because it was low maintenance, he liked the way it looked, and thought it would be an economical material to use. Now, Mr. Wright, knowing the weather in Wisconsin, knew that there were going to be issues. So he did a little bit of research and found a company that sold a stucco product called Elastica. And they guaranteed that it would work better because they had come up with a better formulation. The asbestos added to the stucco actually made the removal and repair of the stucco much more of a challenge. And it actually ended up failing very quickly, leading them to recover all of the siding and all of the stucco from all of the houses within the first 10 to 15 years. Due to the fact that these houses are over 100 years old, they recently had to recover the stucco from the house he is demonstrating and another house that he will show us shortly.
The vent that you see on the in the overhang there, that is actually a feature that was accredited to Frank Lloyd Wright, that he incorporated into his designs, and other companies have done the same to help cool the attic, to help keep the house from cool in the winter and help things last longer. We're going to go all the way to the back of the house just to look at the backs to see how they changed over time. But as you're walking back here, you can see the overhang again. See how the band of windows on the second floor ran the entire length of that living room.
Oh, yeah.
There is a back door to the building that was not required by code at that time. One of the things that they added to these buildings, and that's why we're part of the reason we came back here, is something called a sleeping porch. Very popular in the 1918, 1916 time frame as a place because the air conditioning at that time was you open your windows. So you would actually bring your mattress out and put it on the porch to spend the night. It's a good place to go to get fresh air and not be outside necessarily. But as you can see, as you look down the pathway here, the sleeping porches were enclosed very quickly to add additional year-round living space to the houses.
So kind of like a sunroom?
Kind of like a sunroom, but it was exposed, to so that you could get that fresh air.
Oh, awesome. That's pretty dope. That's cool.
These houses have full basements. Very uncommon for a Frank Lloyd Wright house to have a full basement. If he had a basement at all in his bigger houses, that was only for the mechanicals. Mr. Wright did not believe in giving in garages. He would build some storage space, but he was a minimalist before minimalism was an idea. He said, if I give you a garage, you'll just fill it with stuff. You can see the balconies, and you get a feel for how much over the time the balconies have saved, because we're going to do it Frank Lloyd Wright. So, and
nice.
The city has agreed, and we will get to that as our funding comes up. This house was purchased by a family in 1980 who wanted a Frank Lloyd Wright house, knew this was here, and worked very hard to get this entire block recognized on the National Register to become sites and to save this entire block of Frank Lloyd Wright houses. They remodeled this house to become a single family home. So they have since sold it. It is now on Airbnb.
That's crazy.
We're going to come back to this house in just a moment. This was the first house that our group acquired and started work on, and this is the one that has been fully renovated. But you notice the characteristics. At first glance you'd say, no, this isn't Frank Lloyd Wright, but then you look at the overhangs, path of discovery to the front door again, nature being incorporated through the flower boxes, windows that come to the corner, all characteristics of a Frank Lloyd Wright house.
So he liked to hide the doors, right?
He liked to hide the doors. He actually is one of the tours we took on a home he sold the idea to the homeowner that if I hide the door, traveling salesmen won't be able to find it and you won't be bothered. We're going to go into this house.
Oh,
I'm going to give you a little treat here. This isn't part of the normal tour.
Exclusive.
exclusive, yeah.
Obviously, you can tell that this has been renovated to more of a 1950s, 1960s look.
Well, the fan's very low.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Fine for me.
You ever had any guys, like 7-foot tall guys coming here and then they
This
gotta stay
actually
by their
has a
neck.
cathedral ceiling in it that has been hidden by this fake ceiling that's here. So it's a domed ceiling in here that we will recover. This floor plan here, I like to take it down and just lay it like this. That helps people get a better feel for it. In fact, I'm gonna go stand here to just help for one more reason. This is what the house looked like when it was built. So you're standing in the kitchen. I am standing in this doorway right now. That's where, so there was a wall where your cameraman's standing, a breakfast nook over there. What you're looking at here is a bookshelf and another small bookshelf there. You can see the indications of where they were on the floor. The people had had carpeting over it, that they didn't live with this looking like that for years. So yeah, that is what that would have looked like. The picture that is sitting on the table is a picture of a rendering of what this would have looked like with the cabinets in it. If you were, that rendering would have been as if you were standing right here. So you can see some of the characteristics that Frank Lloyd Wright had in his houses, you know, with the horizontal and vertical lines repeated in the furniture, on the ceiling, the banding on the ceiling. The trim around the windows extends all the way around the room.
Yeah, that's some interesting design of the table and the chairs.
Mhm.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, it's very much the characteristics. The chairs are from other homes that he built. He did not design furniture for the American system-built homes, other than the table and chair that you see drawn in this rendering. But that was not something that would be necessarily what the customer would order. They would order the building, but they would not order their furniture from it. They did get the tables. You'll see the breakfast nook in the next house that we go in, and you'll see how that has been incorporated into the house. Standing feature there. We have a lady that works with our group here, volunteer, who is actually the person who builds this furniture. She is a very talented woodworker. So if you want to look around a little bit in here, just get a feel for the lay of the buildings, and I will answer any questions you would have. The room that you're just looking through the doorway there, that is actually
So
a
this is
front
one
porch,
bedroom.
and will be,
Bro, look at the
it's going to
bathroom.
be open again. It is got a roof over it, but it is open to the
Look at the,
open.
look at
There
the
will be no
toilet.
windows in
It's
it.
so small and
This
like
is a picture in the
wide.
kitchen here of the house from the early.
Yeah, they are. The showers
1928
are so
or
tiny.
27.
What? How would someone shower and you're so tiny?
Interesting to see, because you know the
It's
all the
crazy.
stair houses, those kind of
A ver,
Bro, like look at how low the shower is. That's crazy. Like how little the shower is.
oh, but look at all the detail in the bathroom, bro.
There's a lot of
There's a lot
detail.
of bull knobs.
There's a lot of detail. I was just mentioning how like tiny the showers are. It's like really low.
people back then.
There was always a lot more detail to the tile work back then, though. I'll tell you that. Even though it's a simple like subway design, it still has the nice outside.
Now this, you know, that's a 1950s, 1960s tile pattern.
Yeah.
That would not have been in the house originally, and that will go away. When we get into the next house, you'll see what the bathroom will probably look like in here as well.
Okay.
Awesome.
Still crazy.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Nice room.
The fireplace, there's a steel insert in the back to collect heat and radiate it back into the house. That was something that was done in the designs. We had a architect student that lived here for a while when this house was rental property. And we have visitors that come here from all over the world. And sometimes, they can't get the tours, so they'll stop just to see the houses from the outside. And he would sometimes, his architect student would sometimes give tours as well to people who stopped on the block. He has said that he has never used a fireplace in this house. He did not want to be the architect that burned down a Frank Lloyd Wright house. And you'll see it again when we go into the next house. The banding on the ceiling, the lines, the two colors of paint, all help make you feel like it feels that it's bigger. Well, let's go back to the museum house, the one that has been totally restored. So when we acquired this house, this space here, the front porch, was actually enclosed as additional living space, and we brought it back to where it was. We've had to replace the deck recently, and just to give you an idea of the level of detail that we pay attention to is the deck boards. If you go to Menards, you're not going to be able to find these deck boards. They have square corners like they did in 1916. The screws that are in there are flat-plated, flat-head screws. Again, something that was only available in 1916. And what we actually used here is rough-sawed cedar siding with the rough side down. Another characteristic of Frank Lloyd Wright house is he will compress you before you're released into the house. So this feature here has two functions in life: compress you and make me feel like I'm tall. So welcome to the Model B1
Wow.
Frank Lloyd Wright American System built home.
Wow.
Notice the horizontal and vertical lines have been carried on throughout the design. That steel plate that you saw in the last home is behind this wood grill work here. The leg on the table, the chairs with the vertical lines in them. The banding that goes across the room. The wood in here is American gum wood. Gum wood was less expensive and very available back then. It's very hard to come by today. Gum wood was picked because it could be stained to look like oak, walnut, or cherry. Our contractor who does the work, and she built that chair out of cherry because it's easier to find than the gum wood.
So it's like a rare piece of wood?
Gumwood was very common back then. In fact, our house that we live in Milwaukee was built in 1937. The blueprints call for gumwood for the trim on the second floor as well. It was less expensive. The floors were maple, and we still had the original floors in here. All of the houses still have their original hardwood floors. The bookshelves, the table pulls out to give you more seating space at it. The light fixtures in here, there are 13 in the house. 10 of them are original.
Yeah, I can see how people say that they can live in this. I can live in this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when people
So
say
what,
this house is 805 square feet, and people are just shocked at it because it feels bigger than that. If you look at the wall, you'll notice that there's 3 shades of paint on the wall there in between. And that is what we found as when we dug down was the original colors. They had people go through when we first started renovations and meticulously pick down through the layers of paint to figure out what the original colors were. And this is as close as we could come to what the original colors would have been. The windows are on hinges to open up as opposed to traditional double hung windows. So there's no bar in the middle to break your view. And Mr. Wright used that type of window very much in his designs.
That glass right there.
I believe that is still original. It's just a divider. It helps let light in. And with the windows, like they go, all the light, there's only one light bulb in this room, and it certainly feels bright enough in here.
Yeah.
It's very bright.
It's very bright.
So if you want to go through that door, you'll go into the breakfast nook, and then I will meet you in the kitchen.
On the light fixture.
Bro, this gives me like a restaurant feel.
Okay.
Bro, look
Quebra
at
la
the
They
kitchen.
considered that a key. It was a valve in my mind. But it's interesting in the old lighting
And the
that
sink
they had fixtures that were both gas and electric, the same fixture. What could possibly go wrong there, right?
Voy a donar.
This
Is that where we put to donate?
If you want to make a donation, then you're certainly welcome to. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
These are pictures of what these rooms looked like when we acquired the home in 2005, I believe. So the woodwork had not been painted yet. It is actually complete there. The picture shows the Harvest Gold refrigerator that was here. Now that refrigerator would have been right in this spot here, so we brought the cupboards back to what the original cupboards would have been, because at that time the house would have had an ice box. So this we were able to find an ice box that is from that period that fit the opening very well. For people who are not familiar with ice boxes, you would have somebody deliver a block of ice to your house several times a week to keep your food cold. So that's why the ice box is located right by the back door, because they're carrying this block of ice in when it's 70 degrees out, 80 degrees, it's dripping water every place. So this time of year, ice factories, ice houses would be harvesting ice from lakes and rivers, sawing blocks of ice and storing them in these buildings, covering them with sawdust or straw to keep them from melting, so they would have ice to last throughout the year. You would order your ice, the ice man would be driving down the street, he would see a sticker in your window, a card in your window that would say how many pounds of ice you wanted delivered that day. So he would bring your ice in, stick your block of ice in here. The water would melt down into a container down below, and everything you're cooling would have to fit in that small space, which is why corner stores were very popular then, because you couldn't have a lot of food in your house at that time.
Wow.
That's dope. Oh, that's dope.
Notice the light switches in here?
Yeah, I was gonna ask about those. Are those original?
Some of them may be original. You can still get push button light switches. Renovator Supply has them.
Yeah, those lights are very interesting.
Mm-hmm. What is interesting about Frank Lloyd Wright is he often liked to have circles inscribed in squares. He would play with geometry. And it took me one day as I was walking through, and I realized when I looked up that that circle of the light bulb was inscribed in the square of the base. And that type of detail that you'll see in his houses, that people will walk by for years and not realize what he has hidden in plain sight in his design. He designed homes up until he died in the late 50s.
They're pretty advanced for his era, to be honest. I've walked into brand new homes, I'm talking maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, that aren't this detailed.
Yeah,
There's
the detail.
so much detail.
And it was difficult, Mr. Wright would draw things, and his contractors would look at him and say, we can't do that. And he would look back at him and say, yes, you can, you just have to figure it out. So, bedrooms, you'll notice that another pair of
Wow,
some
like,
stuff.
check out this bedroom.
May I?
Yeah, you can open that.
Twin size bed. That is
Notice
very
the
dope.
logs in there.
Bro.
They didn't have
I'm gonna go
showers,
traveling and leave my suitcase.
so you didn't have tile on the wall.
What is this? Are these toys?
Mr. Wright played with blocks like that as when he grew up.
Yeah, they are toys then, right?
Are the fixtures in the bathroom original? Or
The-
were they-
The
the
tub came
bathroom.
out of one of the duplexes. The sink was found in the basement of this house,
They had,
and the toilet is.
they literally
getting-
had no
I've got
showers.
conflicting reports of whether it's an
they had no showers.
original
This was
1916
just a
toilet or
plain
whether it's a
bathtub.
reproduction.
That is crazy.
In this area where the ceiling bumps up a little bit, the windows on the north and south end actually pivot to open up so that you can ventilate the house. Warm air rises, so by opening those windows, the warm air would rise out of the house and you would get sort of an air conditioning effect.
Was this like a common thing? Like, cause I don't think it's common, right? Like in like your standard homes around the neighborhood to have tall ceilings.
Yeah, this bumped up area would have been unusual for that, yes.
Okay.
But it just gave, it gave a chance to help cool the house.
It looks nice.
Yeah, it does.
And it just brings in some extra light that you wouldn't have had.
Yeah. Yeah, cause this area here would have been dark if it wasn't for those windows up there too. That's a very dope house. It's a very dope house.
It's interesting that people, as I mentioned, people come from around the world to visit here. I had in one afternoon here that I was working, giving tours. I started the day with someone from Australia and ended the day with someone from Italy.
Wow. It's crazy because I lived here almost my entire life and I like never know about it.
Is they use the type of sheathing outside and they use the same sheathing on the inside. If you're familiar with old construction, plaster and lat, where the lats have a space between them where you push the plaster in and it forms a key to keep the plaster up, this sheathing that they used is a 1x5 tongue and groove board with dovetail grooves. So when the plaster was pushed in, or when the stucco was pushed in, it filled those dovetail grooves, and that's what held it to the wall. So you're welcome to look around. You can see the same bedroom layouts that we had in the other houses. Breakfast nook, the kitchen, kind of visualize what it would look like
And
if it was
look at
finished
picture
like
to
the
Frank
B1
Lloyd Wright.
was.
He's
Oh.
hanging in there.
Awesome.
Yeah, Frank Lloyd Wright's in here right now.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a little shop you guys have?
Yeah. Souvenirs. Some little souvenirs. You guys, this is the man right here.
Current building code says when you're more than 3 feet off the ground, you gotta have a 4-foot high wall. So, I was pointing out the detail that would have been extremely difficult to do on site, where they can do this type of compound joint in the factory with the equipment there, and have the, so it was all pre-cut and sent here for final assembly.
Wow.
So if you look at houses in the neighborhood here, you can see a house that hasn't been renovated because the railing will be shorter
Yeah.
on the porches. All of these porches have been renovated, but as you go down the street, you'll notice, you'll see a house, especially in older neighborhoods that have been kept up historically correct, where the railings are shorter. So that ends what I have to tell you. If you have any other questions, I'll be here as long as you need me.
No questions, just thank you.
Sure.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you
sure. I
your
appreciate it a lot.
answer.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, it was really good. Never seen something like this before, and the fact that I've actually shown snow in these homes before is
That
crazy.
is true. Alright guys, well hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. And if you guys did, make sure you guys smash the thumbs up button and hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications to get notified whenever I post. This is the first episode of Hidden Milwaukee, so I really hope you guys enjoyed it. But other than that guys, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Adios and stay blessed.